Are y'all ready for some tea, for story time? I'm so excited to tell this story about when I was coerced into taking medication at the psych ward. My second energy drink, you guys, and so I might be a little cracked out. So if my energy seems off, that is why, but I am just like excited to finally, I don't know, share my experience. Before I do, I want to preface that if topics of mental illness, of being in a hospital, being in a psych ward, suicide attempts, any of that is triggering to you, please just click off this video. It's not my intention to trigger anyone. I just want to share my experience. I think it's an interesting story and hopefully can spread some awareness about, honestly, the realities of psych wards, and that, I don't know, there needs to be some changes in that system for sure. I guess to begin, I had a suicide attempt that I went to the hospital. From the hospital, I was admitted into a psych ward. When I was in the hospital, they told me basically like, you have to transfer from here to a psych unit. So as soon as we find you a bed at some hospital, we will transport you there. You can go voluntary or involuntary. If you go involuntary, you will have a 96-hour hold. I went to the hospital on a Friday, and if you go involuntary, your time doesn't start until, it doesn't count on the weekends. So if I went involuntary, my time in the psych ward wouldn't start till Monday. And mind you, I didn't want to go. I genuinely do not think that I needed to be, I was already safe. I was already, I had lots of family to go back home to. I did not feel I needed to be transferred to a psych unit, but it was out of my control, out of my family's control. It was decided by the hospital, and that was that. I went voluntary and I found a bed at the psych ward and got transferred there. During my intake, they're checking me. I'm at going through questions and answers and everything else. And they even said something about medication and all this, and I said like, yeah, like ideally I do not want to start any medication. Like I don't feel as though I have like long-term symptoms of depression and anxiety. It's just more PTSD, and I was like, I want to focus on the coping skills and learn how to deal with my triggers and my reactions. So I told that to the nurses during my intake. I signed a form that said I had the right to refuse medication. The first day there is a Saturday, and I go in to see the psychiatrist who I was told I'd be meeting with every single day while I was in there. Mind you, I went in on Saturday, again, not knowing how long I would be in there. So I was very hopeful that I would only be in for a couple of days max, as soon as I was proven to no longer be a risk to harm myself or others. I go in to see the psychiatrist. I explain the incident of what happened, explain that I have background in mental health counseling, and that's what my degree's in, and that I have a really good understanding of this field. It's just, when you're in a trauma response, you can't access that information, and that so but I was just explaining that like I can process these events a little bit quicker. I have a lot of the tools already, and that I was, very aware that I needed more help, but that I was very excited to start treatment as soon as I left that unit. He asked about putting me on meds. He's like, if you need help with sleep, if you need help with your anxiety, your depression, like just let me know. We can give you meds for, he's like, if you have alcohol cravings, which I don't, but he knew that alcohol was a factor in that night. I was like, no, like I really don't need medication. Like I appreciate you offering it, but like I just don't need it. It's not for me. I want to learn the coping skills, and in the future, if I feel as though I need medication, I already have a doctor and someone I can go to. He did not take that very well. He's just like, I just think that is a very narrow-minded way to look at this. Then I go in the second day, and again, he's asking, can I put you on this medication? Can I put you on this medication? He sent me some information about it. So he said, did you read the information that I sent to you about the med I want to put you on? And I said, yes, I got it. I understand like that it can be helpful, and it's not that I don't think it would help me at all. Like a little extra serotonin, like I know it's not going to hurt me, but a big part of why I didn't want to be put on the medication was pills were a part of what got me into the psych ward, and I didn't want to just start taking more pills again. It was a triggering thing for me to just be instantly consuming pills again, and I just didn't want to. And I explained that. I said, like, it's more of a trigger for me right now, and I don't have symptoms that need to be treated. So like, because I'm like, after the event happened, like the following days in the psych ward, like I wasn't feeling depressed or anxious or suicidal, like genuine feeling really good and just ready to get out and get working on myself. He's just, I'm just really worried about you. I'm just really worried about you. And again, I'm going to the groups. I'm doing everything a part of this like program. I just don't want the medication. Then the second day, I explained to him like that by that point, I had kind of seen also that like the system of being admitted into the psych ward in the system, like it was understaffed. The orientation process was legitimately traumatizing. And so I was explaining to him, I was excited to continue treatment outside of the psych ward, and that for me, like I didn't feel as the help that I needed for my PTSD and things I could receive on that unit. So I was like, I really just would like to focus on, you know, discussing a discharge date and getting out of here, because I know exactly what kind of treatment I want, and it's just literally not offered here. I woke up one morning just really distraught, and I was asking nurses, like, is there someone I can talk to? Can I please get some help right now? And like literally told no, like there is nobody here to help you. I don't think it was out of line for me to advocate for myself and say like, there's literally not the help I need here, and I understand I need help, just it's literally not available. So it was frustrating. And he said, well, I just think you're very biased. And I was explaining to him like research about protective factors and how like you just don't have that when you're there. Like you're stripped of good sleep, good food, your friends and family, like all these protective factors for mental health. Like being in there, it literally breaks you down. I knew that it was going to be challenging for me, like to stay in there for a long amount of time. So I was like ready and eager to get out. And he said, I just think you're biased. And I was like, look, like it genuinely makes me sad that some people like ask for help, they finally take that step, and like this is the help they receive, because like it's just genuinely not, it's not the best experience. It's very disempowering. And like I just was like, gosh, if like I know there's better out there, but people do not. Like this is people's like first attempt at getting help, and like to end up at a place like that, like it genuinely makes me sad. I want to correct. I told him that at that moment on my second day there, and I would say that after being there for 8, like my perspective on some of the benefits of the things that program offers and things like did change, and there is value to it. So, and I did apologize to him later saying like, I'm sorry to invalidate this, like, and it was never directed at anyone. It was just the system. It just very severely needs updated. It was kind of more of my passion for like social justice and things like that kind of coming through. But when I said that, it clearly like set him off, because the psychiatrist stood up and he was like, thank you, have a good day. Thank you, have a good day. And I was like trying to still like explain to him like, please just give me the benefit of the doubt. He was like, thank you, have a good day, and kicked me out of his office, like stood by his door, shut me down, like literally I don't even remember the last thing I said to him, but it shut down the conversation, kicked me out of the office. I leave just crying like crap. I'm never, because he's in control of my discharge date. The only psychiatrist can decide when I can leave. And even though there's a team of nurses and social workers all a part of my team, the psychiatrist gets to decide my discharge date, who I see for probably less than 10 minutes a day. So it's like he sees only the smallest portion of how I'm doing and what the work I'm putting in, and making these dramatic assumptions, you know, about me not, like, just gaslighting me, like, well, I just think you're not okay. I just don't think you're okay. And I kept thinking, I'm okay. Like, I'm telling him I'm okay. I just think I'm really worried. Like, I'm really okay. Like, I did what I was going to do. I regret it. Like, it was stupid. And I'm not going to do it again. Like, I learned my lesson. You know, I'm in this freaking psych ward, like, locked up. Like, I learned my lesson. Believe me. He was just literally gaslighting me and kicked me out, and it just completely traumatized me after that. Like, I no longer felt safe going in there. And I asked him in that second meeting, I said, well, is there another psychiatrist that I can see? Like, can I please get a second opinion? He's like, no, I'm the only psychiatrist here all week. You can only see me. And I just literally felt so like hopeless. Like, I didn't know what to do. The third day, I go in, and again, this time I bring a nurse in with me, because I know after that I never went into his office by myself again. And I brought a nurse in with me, and again, he's pushing the medication, saying I'm not okay, just trying to get me to take it. And at the end of our session, he's like, well, if I just write the prescription, like, can I just write it for you? So I was like, I mean, you can write it, like, I'm not taking it, I don't want to take meds. And I leave his office, and within 10 minutes, a nurse comes to me with a pill saying, here you go, he wrote the prescription. And I said, no, I'm not taking that. I said, I told him he could write the prescription, but I said I wasn't going to take it. Like, no, I refused to take that. Then I had my family meeting on Monday. So I got in there, like, Saturday was my first full day. I got in like really late Friday night. So by Monday, I have my family meeting. I get a social worker who's PRN, like, this is like her first kind of like day on this specific unit, doesn't really know the ropes, but is facilitating my family meeting, which isn't that great, you know what I mean? Like, how was that beneficial to me at all? It wasn't. And during that family meeting, I explained, like, I don't feel safe with the psychiatrist. He kicked me out of his office, which really, really triggered me and traumatized me. And he's pushing medications on me that I just do not feel comfortable taking. And she was like, well, I mean, I don't really know what your options are, but I can ask if he'll let you go. And I was like, I mean, you can ask him, but like, he literally told me today, and when I saw him, like, he's not going to, like, let me go yet. And every day, like, it was just continuing, like, I'm not ready to let you go. I won't discuss a discharge date with you. Like, so I was just feeling like, I thought I'd be out of here by now, and like, I still don't even have a clear idea of when I'm leaving. And when I got there, they kind of told me that the program I was at was like a 7 to 10 day program, which I wasn't told until checking in there. So that was frustrating. She asked him and was like, sorry, he said no. Like, okay, whatever. Like, so I thought, so Tuesday I go into his office for the 4th time, and he's like, since you demanded to leave yesterday, you have now been switched to an involuntary hold. So I was on a voluntary 96-hour hold that would have ended Wednesday or Tuesday. And he's like, you demanded to leave. And I was like, no, I did not demand to leave. I was like, during my family meeting, like, my mom was asked, like, we were just asking questions about my options, but I was like, we were just trying to get information. Like, I did not demand to leave. And he's like, you demanded to leave, and legally you are now on an involuntary hold. Your lawyer will come meet with you, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just like, again, traumatized for like another like 10th time at this point, like, during this whole process of just feeling blindsided of like, what the heck, like, nothing is going my way. I'm just like, how is it that he has so much power over me when I'm like, I literally didn't demand. And so I was like asking nurses and this patient advocate, being like, none of this is like, I just don't want to take his meds. Like, I'm cooperating. I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong and what else I can do to prove that, like, I'm okay, I'm ready to leave. And it was just like, well, you're on this hold, and because of when it started and because weekends don't count, it wasn't going to be up until Monday afternoon. I just was so defeated. I had just tried everything, like, the patient advocate was like, there's nothing we can do for you. My insurance was like looking into options. Like, I had my mom like looking into anything and everything possible of ways to like fight it and do anything, and it was just like dead end after dead end after dead end, because let's just face it, like, the law is so messed up, the system is so messed up, and it just needs fixed. I just got to a breaking point where I was just like, this guy literally will not give me, like, and everybody in the psych ward was taking meds and just like, just take it. Like, that's all he wants you to do. Like, he pushed it on me too, but like, once you take it, he'll be nice to you. And I just am like, no, I don't want to, I'm not going to. But once I was put on that involuntary hold, I'm like, well, at this point, he is the only way, like, he can decide to let me out before that Monday. Like, and I just really wanted to be home. I didn't want to spend another weekend in the hospital. So I went and I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take that stupid pill. So a nurse like went and got it, and I took it. And then the next day I went into his office and I said, yep, I decided to take that pill. And he was like, oh, good, I'm so glad to hear it. And then he literally, the first meeting I had where he was actually nice to me, and where he's just like, wow, you actually have a smile on your face today, which I guarantee you I walked in with a smile every single day before that, you know, until he started gaslighting me and kicking me out of his office. Then my smile maybe went away. And he was like, how have groups been going? Have you been going to groups? And I was like, yes, like, I've told you every single day I've been going to the groups and telling you that they're going well and telling you that I'm learning these skills. And I would explain to him, like, I got really upset at this moment and I used my coping skills, and so he didn't listen to any of that until I took that pill. And then he's like, okay, good. And he said, okay, well, now I'm hoping to get you out sooner rather than later. As soon as like any day before that, before I had taken the pill, I'm just worried about you. I'm just not ready to send you home. I take the pill. Let's get you out sooner rather than later. Interesting, you know? My insurance keeps asking him, like, why are you keeping her here? Can you justify this? And his first report was, all it said was that he thought I was a risk, a safety risk. And the insurance had to call him and be like, okay, but why? Like, why is she a safety risk? He could barely like offer a real reason. And then the next report after I took the meds, basically he told the insurance, he said, I'm just looking to see her take some consecutive days of the medication. And so my insurance did file a grievance against him because they're like, so you are pushing the meds, which you literally are not allowed to do. Like, she has the right to refuse medication. The next day after taking it, he was just like, hopefully we'll string a couple days together and then we can get you out. And then I went in on Thursday, and so Wednesday night my insurance filed the grievance and said, we're not going to pay like for her to be there anymore. Like, you can't even justify why she's still there. I was Wednesday night, like, I'm getting out tomorrow, like, he has to let me go. I go into his office Thursday and he's just like, well, hopefully we can hopefully maybe if today and tomorrow go well, like, hopefully maybe by the weekend. Thursday was like by far my toughest day because, mind you, like, yes, I'm meeting people and I'm making friends, and like certain people I got really close to, but they all were there, got in before me, a lot of them, so they were all leaving and getting discharge dates. And that was like one of the hardest things because I'm doing literally everything that everyone else is doing and being told that he's worried. He keeps telling me, I'm worried about you, you're a safety risk. Like, there's people who laid in bed like for the first few days and then like have one good day and go home. And I'm like, I'm literally getting up, going to all the meals, going to the groups, purposely hanging out in common areas and meeting people and talking to people. And for all of that to just not count for anything until I took a pill, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. And Thursday, yeah, was like just the toughest day because the last couple of people I was so close to discharged, and I really thought I was gonna go home that day, and I still didn't even have it. I didn't know, like, I was hopeful that I was gonna leave Friday, but I did not know. And like, I would literally, like, my blood pressure would be so high before I went in to see him, or anytime I talked, like, and was talking about him. Like, I felt so unsafe because he had all the power, like, he controlled my discharge date. And the thing is he worked for like a week shift, so he worked from like Saturday to a Friday, and then every Saturday a new psychiatrist came in. So I felt very strongly that he would let me go on Friday because I knew at that point that he was like just trying to, I had somehow threatened his authority, and he's just misogynistic, truly, and somehow felt like, I don't know, like it was like a power thing for him, and he just wanted to keep holding his power over me. And so I knew that he was probably gonna let me go Friday, but wouldn't tell me until Friday, just to keep like the mind games going, because he knew how badly I wanted to know. It's like, I honestly didn't even care. Like, if he would have told me, like, I'm not letting you go until the end of the week, like from the beginning, I would have been okay. Like, it was just not having that light at the end of the tunnel and just getting like my hopes up and down every day of thinking it could be my last kind of a thing. Friday morning, I woke up and I was just like, I was just manifesting it. I'm like, I think he's gonna send me home today, because at this point, like, this is his last day to be the one in control of sending me home. And I knew the next day a psychiatrist would be like, why are you still here? Like, obviously you can leave. He met with me first thing in the morning Friday, and that was always a good sign because he always met with who he was sending home first. So Friday morning, he said, he met with me. He's like, I think we can send you home today. I just don't know exactly when. It'll just depend on whenever the discharge papers get filled out and whatever else. And I was like, that's fine, thank you. And then I finally left, and all was good. I was just not expecting, like, I just had no idea that they were going to be pushing medication and pills on me like that hard, and that I would be made to feel like insane. Like, I kept asking nurses, can you please help me? Like, I keep telling him I don't want to, and everybody defended him. Like, he's such an ethical doctor though. Like, I'm so surprised you're having this experience with him. Like, this is just not normal. Even like the head of the hospital was like, he never puts like involuntary holds on people. Like, I don't know why he did that to you. Like, somebody in there was literally like yelling, going, get me out of here, I'm leaving, I like literally demanding to leave. And I heard them tell her like, well, I can ask the psychiatrist, but if he says no, you will be put on an additional hold. None of that information was literally given to me. It was like, you want me to ask him? Okay. Like, no, if they would have said, if we ask him, he can move your hold, I would have said, don't ask him. I already knew he was going to say no. Like, I don't know why. I genuinely do not know why this man, like, was so unethical in his treatment and abusive with me. I literally do not know. And it's something that has caused me a lot of like kind of trauma. Like it just, I don't know, it took me a while to make this video because I still am like, was it me? Was it my fault? Did I do something wrong? It was like, and I'm just like, no, I was the patient. Like I'm in there because of a suicide attempt and you're gonna kick me out of your office like without saying like, hey, like I appreciate I don't think that we're gonna go get anywhere today. Like there was a nicer way of being like, look, I hear what you're saying, but I think what's best is for us to put a pin in it until tomorrow. Say something, like, but don't, thank you, have a good day. Thank you, have a good day. Like he was just the most corrupt psychiatrist. I just don't trust psychiatrists. I will never see another psychiatrist as long as I live. Like it was so horrific and traumatic, and I just couldn't believe that this man literally was going to force me to take his pill before letting me leave the hospital. And he wouldn't talk to my mom. And my mom was like, I want to talk to the doctor. I want to see why you won't let her go. Like if there's a good reason, like if there's actually a reason that because my mom's like, maybe, you know, she's not in there with me, so maybe I did do something for them to be worried. And so she finally, after talking to the head of the hospital, finally got him forced to talk to her. He said that he wouldn't send me home because I smoke weed, which was on because I do have my med card, and so that was on my file, and I did discuss it with him. You don't have to agree, but like you can't keep me in here because of that. Like I'm not, you know, like I'm not hurting myself or others in that. And he also said because I still like live at home with my sisters because I fight with them, and he was worried because I went drinking on my birthday, even though it was like completely normal going out with your friends, karaoke bar hopping, like super, you know, safe and responsible, like, you know, nothing bad like happened. And it was just like he was literally using things that were normal against me and didn't have like concrete reasons to not trust me or think that I was a safety risk or to keep me in there that long. And that was really, really difficult for me, but I made it through. So I can always accept the fact that what I did was an extreme thing to do, and I can accept the consequences and accept that I needed, you know, to spend time in a psych ward and focus on myself and take time to pause. Like all of that I ultimately can accept and deal with, and you know, I made it out. I was stronger than I thought I was, made it a lot longer than I thought I could, and genuinely just ready to live my best life from here on out. But I wanted to share that story with y'all because I don't know, I think it's a little juicy if you ask me. I know I'm not the first one to tell y'all that we have a very corrupt system and we need to improve it. So like I did in my life update, if you need help, if you are struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts or anything like that, I'm going to leave some resources in the description. Please get help. It really is not worth it, and you know, we need you around. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a comment, start some conversation, and I will see you guys in my next video.